I recommend you to watch AAU television.
AAU TV is the place to be for every person in higher education in Africa. Better be there or be nowhere.
Continuez de regarder la télé et surtout sur le AAU.
Keep watching it and it will change the way you interact with higher education on the continent. AAU, great job.
I want to tell you that AAU television is fantastic, it's educative, it's informative, and it is a must for anybody who is interested in higher education in Africa.
When I was in Accra last year, I did an interview on this TV. It's a very important mouthpiece.
It's a data, it's a bank of all we need for the development of higher education in Africa.
People should make an effort to view it because it discusses very current issues of development across the continent.
I believe that the station will continue to promote the overall development of Africa, particularly in the tertiary education sector.
AAU TV provides a platform and shares a lot of information to a broader audience. So we wish you all the best and please continue serving
AAU TV,
the voice of higher education in Africa.
It's 12 o'clock and we are coming to you live from the headquarters of the Association of African Universities here in Accra, Ghana. My name is Manukwa Utwakwanyame, and now straight to our top stories for today. In higher education, South Africa acts over student aid crisis. And now in health, Ghana commits to mass health recruitment. In entertainment, Black Hole wins TGMA Artist of the Year. And in international, cruise virus outbreak triggers global evacuation. And now please stay with us for the news in detail after this short break. We'll be right back. In higher education, South Africa's Higher Education Minister, Buti Manamela, placed the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, known as NSFAS, under administration this month, following a devastating audit outcome that found the scheme unable to account for billions of rands meant to support poor and working class students. The decision came after years of deepening governance failures, incomplete financial records, and an Auditor General's disclaimer of opinion that most severe audit results any public institutions can receive. Academic Professor Legani Matibula has been appointed as administrator to take full control of the scheme.
Minister Manamela described NSFAS as one of the most important public institutions in South Africa's democratic project, saying that for many families, it represented the difference between inclusion and opportunity, between hope and despair. It was precisely because of this centrality, he said, that failure at NSFAS could not be allowed to continue. The Auditor General's finding paints a deeply troubling picture. Financial records are incomplete, transactions cannot be verified, and large volume of data remains unsupported. More alarming still, the audit revealed that 822 deceased beneficiaries continued receiving funding. More than 14,000 students above the income threshold were being funded. Hundreds were drawing from both NSFAS and social grants simultaneously, and tens of thousands who did not meet eligibility or academic requirements remained on the books. The Portfolio Committee chairperson, Tebogo Letzi told Parliament on May 6th the financial institution should place a hold on large deposits from NSFAS until reasons for transactions are provided, and stressed that fixing the ICT system was the first and most urgent priority. The appointment of Administrator Matebola has not been without controversy. His credentials have been questioned following his departure from the South African Revenue Service under a cloud in 2019. His appearance before Parliament on May 5th was tense, with lawmakers questioning who was actually in charge, after both Matebola and the acting CEO appeared before the committee simultaneously. Universities in South Africa has welcomed the intervention, but warned that placing NSFAS and administration alone would not address its deeper structural weaknesses. A comprehensive overhaul of the entire student funding model, is said, was what was truly needed.
Now, meanwhile, Nigeria's Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alusa, on Monday in Abuja warned universities, polytechnics and colleges of education that any admission conducted outside of JAMB Central Admissions Processing System, CAPS, would be treated as unlawful and attract stiff sanctions. This includes a possible suspension of operating licenses. The warning was issued at the 2026 policy meeting of admissions to tertiary institutions, where the minister also unveiled sweeping reforms aimed at widening access to higher education and strengthening accountability across the sector.
The federal government has drawn a hard line on illegal tertiary admissions, with the education minister making clear that institutions which bypass JAMB's official statement will face consequences they cannot ignore. The Minister of Education, Dr. Tunji Alusa, made clear at the meeting that the federal government would no longer tolerate parallel admission systems capable of undermining merit, transparency, and public trust. He stated that admissions conducted outside the CAPS framework are illegal and will not be recognized. The minister also warned that heads of institutions found violating the policy would face severe regulatory consequences, stressing that appropriate sanctions would be applied without hesitation. On the minimum admission age, Alusa announced that the federal government had retained 16 years as the baseline for entry into tertiary institutions. The decision, he said, was reached after extensive consultations aimed at balancing inclusivity with academic readiness. In a significant policy shift, candidates applying for the Nigeria Certificate in Education with at least 4 credit passes will no longer be required to sit the Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. The exemption will also cover candidates seeking national diploma programs in agriculture and related courses, though all must still register with JAMB for screening through CAPS. The minister also highlighted the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, which provides interest-free loans to remove financial barriers to higher education, and announced plans to integrate artificial intelligence into tertiary curricula.
Now in health, Vice President Professor Jane Nana Opoku-Agyeman has officially opened the second Africa Health Workforce Investment Forum in Accra, Ghana, calling on African nations to move from words to action in building stronger health systems. The forum, held under the theme Africa's Health Workforce, From Words to Action Plan, Train and Retain, brought together policymakers, development partners, and health stakeholders to address the continent's deepening health workforce crisis. Among the key announcements, the Vice President revealed that the government has authorized the recruitment of approximately 16,000 health workers in Ghana this year.
Addressing delegates at the forum, Vice President Opoku-Agyeman stressed that Africa's health systems could not be strengthened without deliberate investments in human capital. She acknowledged progress made across the continent in areas such as life expectancy, immunization coverage, maternal health care, and disease control, but was clear that significant gaps remained in access affordability, and quality of care. The Vice President highlighted the importance of the Accra Reset Agenda, an initiative designed to place citizens at the center of governance through resilient, equitable, and accountable systems. She said the government was focused on advancing health sovereignty through sustainable financing, workforce development, and stronger healthcare institutions. On domestic interventions, she pointed to the rollout of free primary health care and the establishment of the Ghana Medical Trust Fund, known as Mahama Cares, as key steps towards supporting persons living with chronic and high-cost illnesses. The Vice President announced that authorization has been granted for the recruitment of approximately 16,000 health workers in Ghana this year alone, describing it as a demonstration of government's commitment to strengthening the health workforce. She further called for continental collaboration and reform, saying Africa must ensure stronger planning, purposeful training, sustainable employment, and dignified retention of its health workforce. The forum serves as a critical platform for translating long-standing commitment into concrete action as Africa confronts one of its most pressing development challenges.
And now please stick with us for news and discovery after the break. We'll be right back.
Hello Africa is your live breakfast show delivering informative, entertaining, and energizing start to your day.
Our expert reviews break down the headlines and help you make sense of today's news.
We bring you nothing but the most interesting highlights on our top African stories.
Plus lifestyle features, inspiring interviews, and the best on the continent.
Every episode is packed with stories that inform, inspire, and celebrate the spirit of the continent.
Catch us live every Monday at 9 a.m.
And be part of the conversation on our social media platforms.
Hello Africa, bringing the continent to your morning.
You're welcome back from the break, and now in Discovery, Nigeria's federal government has announced a dual strategy to tackle the country's long-standing telecom failures, investing in nationwide fiber and satellite infrastructure while introducing immediate regulatory and economic reforms. The plan, coordinated by the Federal Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, empowers the Nigerian Communications Commission to enforce service standards and hold underperforming operators accountable.
Nigeria's federal government says it has a plan to end the country's long-running telecom struggles. The Federal Ministry of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy has outlined a dual strategy which is built to better infrastructure for the future while stabilizing the sector immediately. The ministry said in an official statement that Nigeria's connectivity challenges stems from years of underinvestment and operational constraints that have prevented telecom operations from delivering reliable services. To address this, the government announced the rollout of open access fiber infrastructure nationwide under a special purpose initiative known as Project Bridge, to be implemented through the Universal Service Provision Fund program. Officials added that additional fiber development and expanded satellite capacity are expected before the end of the year, with the government projecting that critical infrastructure gaps will be closed within 3 to 5 years. The goal, authorities said, is to give Nigerians direct access to high-speed internet at their homes and businesses, reducing dependence on congested mobile networks. On the immediate front, the government introduced forums including tariff adjustments, tax and regulatory harmonization, and broader microeconomic measures such as fuel subsidy removal and improved foreign exchange stability. Operators including MTN Nigeria, Airtel Nigeria, Globacom, and T2 are now expected to use this more stable environment to improve network performance and service delivery. The Nigerian Communications Commission has been empowered to enforce compliance, track network quality, and take regulatory actions against operators that fall short of required standards. The government assured Nigerians that those who deliver improved services will be recognized, while those who fail to comply will face the consequences.
And now in sport, Uganda's women's national under-20 football team have missed out on qualifications to the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup after a 1-1 draw with Ghana's national women's under-20 football team at Fufa Stadium, Kadiba. Sylvia Kabene gave Uganda an early lead before Linda Owusu equalized for Ghana to secure a 3-2 aggregate victory for the visitors. Despite the defeat, Uganda's campaign showcased a continued growth of women's football in the country.
The dream is over for the Uganda women's national under-20 football team after a spirited campaign ended in a heartbreak at the final hurdle of the FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup qualifications. Uganda played out a 1-1 draw against Ghana women's national under-20 football team at Fufa Stadium, Kadiba, but the result saw Ghana advance 3-2 on aggregate. Backed by a passionate home crowd, the Queens made a perfect start when Sylvia Kabini struck in the 7th minute to level the tie and ignite belief among the supporters. Uganda continued to press with determination and gained a numerical advantage in the 69th minute after Ghana's Margaret Ejapon was shown a red card. But with the match finally poised, Linda Owusu scored Ghana's decisive equalizer in the 78th minute, restoring the visitors' aggregate advantage and ultimately sealing qualification. Despite the painful exit, the Queens leave the competition with pride after an impressive campaign that highlighted the steady rise and growing potential of women's football in Uganda.
And now in entertainment, Black Sherif has been crowned Artist of the Year at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards after a successful year dominating streaming platforms and charts. The Konongo-born artist beat competition from Medical, Wendy Shea, Diana Hamilton, Stonebwoy and Sarkodie to claim the top prize at the Accra International Conference Center. Black Sherif's 2025 album, Iron Boy, enjoyed massive local and international success, helping him secure his second Artist of the Year title after winning in 2023. He also picked up awards for Best Hip Hop Song, Best Afro Pop Song, and Songwriter of the Year.
Black Sherif has once again cemented his place at the top of Ghana's music industry after winning Artist of the Year at the Telecel Ghana Music Awards. The Konongo-born singer and rapper beat strong competition from Medical, Wendy Shea, Diana Hamilton, Stonebwoy and Sarkodie to claim the night's biggest honor at the Accra International Conference Center. The victory marks Black Sherif's second Artist of the Year award after winning the title in 2023. Industry observers say the latest triumph reflects one of the strongest years by a Ghanaian artist on the streaming platforms in recent times. His 2025 album, Iron Boy, recorded major success locally and internationally, including chart appearances in the United Kingdom and billboards on world album charts. On Spotify, Black Sherif currently boasts over 2.6 million monthly listeners and emerged Ghana's most streamed artist for the third consecutive year. He also dominated Apple Music charts while surpassing 100 million streams on Boomplay and more than 1 billion plays on Audiomack. Aside from the top award, Black Sherif also won Best Hip Hop Song of the Year, Best Afro Pop Song of the Year, and Songwriter of the Year. This year's awards ceremony, organized by Charterhouse Productions, featured performances, fashion, and celebrity appearances, with hosting duties handled by Na Ashoko and Giovanni Caleb.
Now in business, Aliko Dangote has seen his net worth rise to $35.9 billion according to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, making him one of Africa's top-performing billionaires in 2026. The increase has been driven by expansion across the Dangote Group, including plans for a London listing for Dangote Cement and a proposed $15 to $17 billion oil refinery project in Kenya. Nigeria's Dangote refinery is also expanding export amid growing global energy demand.
Aliko Dangote continues to strengthen his position as Africa's richest man after his net worth surged $35.9 billion. According to Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Dangote gained more than $1 billion just in a few days, bringing his total gains for 2026 to nearly $6 billion. The rapid rise reflects strong expansion across the Dangote business empire. Dangote Cement, Africa's largest cement producer, is planning a partial listing in London as part of efforts to boost its international visibility and growth. The company already operates in more than 10 African countries with an annual production capacity of 55 million tons. At the same time, Dangote Fertilizer is pursuing additional dollar-dominated bonds to finance long-term expansion following a $550 million private bond sale. One of the group's most ambitious projects, however, is a proposed oil refinery in Kenya, estimated to cost between $15 to $7 billion. The project is expected to become one of East Africa's largest industrial investments and could significantly reshape regional energy supply. Meanwhile, Dangote Refinery in Nigeria continues to expand its global reach, with reports indicating rising exports driven by increasing international energy demand.
Now on the international front, a passenger evacuated from the cruise ship MV Honduras has developed symptoms of hantavirus while being repatriated to France, raising fresh concerns over the outbreak that has already claimed 3 lives. More than 90 passengers and crew have been evacuated from the vessel off the Canary Islands, with several countries including France, the UK, the US and the Netherlands placing returnees under strict monitoring and quarantine. Health officials say some passengers contracted the Andes strain of hantavirus during travel in South America.
International health authorities are intensifying emergency response efforts after a hantavirus outbreak aboard the Dutch cruise ship MV Honduras left 3 passengers dead and triggered large-scale evacuations across multiple countries. Fresh concern emerged after a French passenger began showing symptoms while being flown from Tenerife to Paris. French officials immediately placed all 5 evacuees from the vessel into strict isolation upon arrival. The outbreak has already resulted in more than 90 passengers and crew being repatriated from the ship, which anchored off the Canary Islands on Sunday. Authorities in France, Spain, the United Kingdom and the United States and the Netherlands are now monitoring evacuees closely, with several passengers placed in quarantine facilities or traveling in specialized biocontainment units. Health experts believe some passengers may have contracted the Andes strain of hantavirus while traveling in South America before boarding the ship. Unlike most hantaviruses, the Andes strain can spread between humans. Symptoms include fever, muscle pain, vomiting, diarrhea and breathing difficulties. The outbreak has reignited debates over how infectious disease outbreaks on cruise ships are managed, with public health experts calling for stronger global preparedness and surveillance systems. Once all passengers and crew have disembarked, the MV Honduras is expected to continue to the Netherlands for further decontamination procedures.
And now that is all for the news. Let's take a quick recap of our top stories. In higher education, South Africa acts over student aid crisis. And in health, Ghana commits to mass health recruitment. In entertainment, Blacko wins TGMA Artist of the Year. And in international, cruise virus outbreak triggers global evacuation. Now, thank Thank you very much for sticking with us on the AAU TV Midweek News. Get interactive with us via our dedicated news portals and platforms at Association of African Universities. My name is Manu Pauta. Do enjoy the rest of your week and bye.